Reaction from world leaders to Saturday's attack in Israel has been swift. Earlier today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau put out a statement condemning the violence. And just a short time ago, he spoke at a rally held in solidarity with Israel, offering his support to the victims of Saturday's attack.
The indiscriminate killing of civilians, the sexual violence, the violence against women, children, and elderly people, these acts are sickening and completely unimaginable. The glorification of death and violence and terror has no place anywhere, including and especially here in Canada. So let me be very clear. Hamas terrorists aren't a resistance. They're not freedom fighters. They are terrorists, and no one in Canada should be supporting them, much less celebrating them.
A large demonstration in support of Israel also just wrapped up in Toronto. Thousands of people gathered for what's being called an emergency rally for the people of Israel. The United Jewish Appeal Federation, which organized the event, asked people to wear blue and white and to bring Canadian and Israeli flags. Ontario Premier Doug Ford spoke at the rally, denouncing Hamas attacks and calling on the provinces to stand in support of Israel.
We must speak plainly about what it is: heinous acts of terror, anti-Semitic attacks carried out by Hamas against Israel and the Jewish people. Now is the time for moral clarity. There can be no question or confusion. Israel has an absolute right to defend itself and its citizens. In Canada and Ontario, we must stand firm in our support for Israel and for the Jewish people.
Ithil Musa is covering this rally for us. Ithil, tell us, what was the atmosphere like there earlier on tonight?
Yeah, well, Deanna, as you just heard, I mean, people were, really enthusiastic when, people like Doug Ford spoke in support of Israel. At other times, it was, quite solemn. Doug Ford was joined by other politicians tonight at the rally here at Mel Lastman Square in Northern Toronto, including Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow, as well as Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. There were thousands and thousands of people here. I asked a police officer that was one of the many patrolling the rally to ensure that it was safe. He estimated that there was maybe about 10,000 people that were here. So it was a substantial gathering. Some of the people we spoke to have links to the region. Here's what one had to say about what's unfolded.
They've been through wars before, but this was certainly unprecedented. I think the scale of the attack was something that they've never seen before. I think the actual barbarism, the brutality, I think was intentional. And again, it was shocking. And I think that the reprisal is going to be equally as shocking. This happened before. People are saying enough is enough.
According to Israeli media, more than 900 Israelis have been killed since Saturday's attack by the militant group Hamas from Gaza. On the Palestinian side, nearly 700 deaths, and on both sides, thousands of people that have been injured. In response, Israel has essentially declared war, and it's cut off electricity. It stopped food, water, and fuel into Gaza in retaliation.
Ithil, there was also another rally in Toronto earlier today. You were at that one as well. That one was in support of the Palestinian side. Tell us about that.
Yes, that's right. About 1,000, protesters and demonstrators came out to a rally that worked its way. It started at City Hall and worked its way to the Israeli consulate in Toronto. A lot of people there too that have, links to people living in Gaza and the West Bank. I spoke to, one young woman who's helped actually organize the event. Here's just a little bit of what she had to say.
This is the day-to-day reality of Palestinians, right? Like Palestinians who are living in Gaza are living a life that is where they don't have freedom of movement, they don't have access to clean drinking water. It's a population of over 2 million people in one of the most densely populated parts of the world. Year after year, the United Nations and international organizations say that Gaza is on the verge of being unlivable.
And now with Israel basically declaring a siege, stopping the flow of electricity and food and supplies and other resources, humanitarian groups are saying that things could get quite a bit worse in Gaza. Rallies like the one today, I suspect we'll be seeing more of them when it comes to both sides, supporters of Palestinians and Israelis. I went to both demos and rallies today, and I have to say the one thing that sort of unites them is that there were many people who are very, very invested in what's happening there and have strong connections.
Thank you so much for that. That's CBC's Ithil Musa in Toronto.